Now, I'm not actually going to do a time lapse or anything simply because I don't want to bother with setting up the camera and doing all that stuff. But on top of all the motorcycles I've sold, the Bandit, the Yamaha, what the hell else, the Harley, let's see what else, sold a few tractors, sold a few mini bikes including the Tote Goat, one of my Gilsons, Super Bronx, all sorts of stuff. This is the next victim on the sale list. The Simplicity 700 Wonderboy forklift tractor. I've had it for almost 4 years now and have sadly done nothing with it. So, the forklift is going to Canada. Yeah, it's one of the most rare Alice Chalmers attachments out there. Yes, it's cool. Yes, I wish I had a shop with pallet rack and I could actually use it in. But for the price I sold this for, I can buy a good used propane forklift and do the same thing in the future. But actually be able to use it. And this thing's cool, don't get me wrong. But my back ain't good enough to keep turning around. And frankly, also it's a novelty. I don't need it. Well, pretty much that's this entire freaking hobby, but that's besides the point. My point being, she's coming apart because the guy just bought the forklift, so I'm still gonna have the tractor, but the tractor will not have. Oh, I left the fuel line on. That's perfect. The tractor will not have a lift arm and a bunch of other stuff. It's missing a bunch of parts because the forklift is attached to it. So whether or not I put it back together, since I have to remove the grill to get the motor out, and the drive shaft. So I gotta pull this bracket out for the pump. So I gotta pull the whole motor out. I don't know if I'm gonna even bother putting it back together. That's what I'm trying to get at here. It's cool, but I have lost the interest in a lot of the tractor stuff. I mean, I have the Jim Dandy, I have a bunch of other stuff, but the forklift, if I had more room and, I don't know, expendable income or income of any sort, maybe I would have kept it longer. But lately I've been finding the thrill of hunting down the stuff and possessing it for a little while. And then moving on to something else. Like I owned a Struck, sold it. I owned the forklift, now selling it. Montgomery Ward Twin 20, the most rare of the Power Max series. Owned it, sold it. Now, I always had great ambitions for everything. I wanted to fix everything up or upgrade it or do something cool with it. And this is one that I just burned out on and got other things to put the money into, including that big chrome bastard right there. Not just the bumper, I meant the car. You know, disc brake front conversion and rebuild the motor, all sorts of stuff I want to do to it. And need less toys to focus on other toys. So, without further ado, I'm going to start ripping it apart. The last part of this video you'll probably see is the tractor sitting there with the motor out and the forklift all disassembled and probably laying over here next to it, because the guy's coming in 2 days to get it. So, I will hopefully remember to record the last bit. Alright, so as I found out, that doesn't go under it slides under the engine, but it's not like mounted directly under the motor itself, which is cool. Gas tank came off with a fight because I got to disconnect the hoses, and then I still have to drain all the hydraulic fluid, mark down which hose goes where. Probably just going to leave them attached up here, disconnect them back there, or I don't know, maybe I might even be able to just remove the one that goes back to the lift and leave the rest attached, just have it as one big mechanism that I have to try draining. Yeah. Really sucks to tear this thing apart, but you know, it's gonna happen now. I'm not putting it back together. That's for the next guy to deal with. And then for my personal remembering here, this is the forklift up and then gravity return, and those are the adjusters for the tilt. Really doesn't matter which way they go, because worst case scenario the lever goes backwards, which I think I hooked it up backwards. So mint. The mast is off. Pump and selector are draining. Distribution thing, whatever, that thing. I'm too tired to really care about proper terminology. And I'm leaving that other cylinder attached. I drained the hoses. Probably a little bit left in the cylinder, but I'll just cap it off. And then there's actually no front bolts holding this on. It just slides onto the pin on the axle. So I just got 4 more bolts, and then this tractor is officially a half stripped down 700 Wonder Boy and no longer a forklift tractor. And there it is. It is now just a half stripped down Simplicity 700 Wonder Boy. Nothing special about it except the fact that it's missing a bunch of crucial parts to make it work. So, yep. I sure as hell am not putting that back on. But that's going to be it for this one, guys. Appreciate you watching. Even though it's kind of like a really boring, just kind of, hey, this is what I'm doing kind of video. But, the end of an era. Mark's selling off all of his cool stuff. I shouldn't say all. I still have a bunch of stuff. Coming home sooner or later this year is going to be the gut rod. Since I have not found a proper carburetor, I'm going to try adapting a Kohler carb. We shall see how that turns out. But also, you know, I have a bunch of other projects I'm working on. So, just got to get them done, and we will, I'll keep putting out stuff for you guys to watch. If you guys still want to watch it. So, you guys have a good one. Take care.